What is up, AN Nation? It's been a minute. Today I brought you with an AN review of the Finalmouse, with the Prophecy line, with a bunch of content creators. The one that I have is the newest version of the ULX, which is for Tarik. And his box is signed too. Sorry, by Tarik. Yeah, nope. So main draw of this mouse is that it has a higher pulling rate. It can go up to 8K pulling because of the dongle here, which I'll get to in a minute. But shape has been the same. It's kind of been the same since like the Starlight, which is what one that I had before. Shape feels the same. Clicks are Huano pink dot, Huano blue dot, blue pink dot. There we go. Oh my god. And they feel alright. I mean, not the best, but I think my favorite clicks are still gonna be in the Engen Gear OP1. Don't know why, but I just love how they implemented. Scroll wheel's fine, but I took off the default skates and used hardened PTFE feet because I'm on a glass pad, so just to make it easier, you know. So it won't ruin skates immediately. The skin's alright, not that bad. It feels kind of the same as the Logitech Superlight ones, like that kind of that weird leatherish coating. It's not as good as that one, but it's kind of the same if you wanted a comparison, if you know about that one. But no, I think it's a solid mouse. Yeah, and obviously the main drawback, the main draw is the higher pulling rate on it, which I think is really, it shouldn't be promoted that much. I think it's one of the things of like, if you're min-maxing your setup of like having an 8K pulling keyboard or with Hall effect switches, 240 Hz, 360 Hz, 480 Hz monitor panel. You know what I mean?
The punch machine,
it's just one of the things of like you really don't need, especially on a mouse, because if you set your pulling rate to higher than like 4,000 or 4,000 and above to 4,000 or 8,000, it's really gonna draw on your CPU by like 20, 30, 40%. And I honestly prefer having more frames than having a smoother like experience and like it tracking a little bit better. But Optimum Tech put out a video explaining it, how the science behind it. But all ultimately comes down to is just, it really doesn't matter. It's fractions upon fractions of like measurements that you'll see improvement. It's copium, I think. You know, like I think if you put out like 4,000 pulling and your aim gets better overnight, I think it's just copium, because you're spending almost $200 on a mouse. But I really do think that like we're going in the right direction with higher pulling. It's just game engines are not there. Like I can only think of like 2 games that it runs pretty well, and Optimum shows them off. It's Overwatch 2, and Valorant, because those games are so optimized like over the years, and they've been out for quite a minute. Especially Overwatch. But like another popular shooter out there is Marvel Rivals. I haven't tested it in COD 'cause I don't play that shit. COD or
I have not touched Mogus
shit.
in a hot
That's another
minute.
one. Oh well, doesn't matter. Marvel Rivals is probably one of the bigger shooters out there right now. And I've tried using the higher pulling Reddit. It just makes the game stutter, or it just breaks. League of Legends is another popular one that people like to play. In that game, it doesn't really matter because it's just mouse movement. But like, you know, people won't have a high pulling rate mouse. They want to use it, you know. But I just don't think game engines are optimized for that kind of higher input. Not yet, anyways. But so for like Rivals, anything above 2K or 4K pulling, the game just stutters, and it just makes my aim way worse, and it's just not a fun experience. So I wouldn't try using it in most games. You should still try it out, see what happens, but you're gonna lose like 40 FPS, you know, because it uses max, it'll use 40% of your CPU.
Pretty sure I saw
and not everyone has really good like, you know, streamer computers where they can run anything at 4K, you know. So but like I do think it's a very solid mouse, and I'm excited for the future. You know, in like 20 years from now, we're probably not gonna have a chassis or a holding. It's just gonna be a sensor or something where we just use our hands and not even
into the roof so
physical
that you
device.
can
You know,
down
I'm
faster,
telling you,
like,
I'm calling it. But I'm excited. I really don't think people should be buying these types of products just for the appeal of AK pulling, unless you know you're a professional player and you use this every single day. You know, but you gotta figure out if it works or not. Yeah, because like I don't think many people are talking about how like the AK or 4K pulling is not gonna work if you're not on a high DPI at least like 1600. It just does not work because you're not giving it as much information as the sensor needs to send it to the computer. So for example, if you're like 400 800, you got to do so much more movement in order for the 4K or 8K pulling to kick in and put in those faster response times of it saying to the computer, because you're not giving it enough. And as opposed to if you're like at 1600, you're doing like half the movement for the same effect. So if you're at 1600, you got to do a little bit of this instead of 400 800. You got more input for it to give it the information needed to help. If that makes sense. Optimum Tech explains it way better than I did, but that's a dummy down version. Is that you swipe less for faster input if you're on high DPI, because DPI, the high DPI, you are less information you need to give it for it to understand that okay, I need it's gonna kick in and give it a faster response time that's advertised. Anyways, I really do think that you shouldn't just be buying these types of mice just for that pulling rate. I recommend just going with the shape that you love. I mean, for me, my favorite shape of all time is the Zowie S2 that I got from Piranha Mouse Mods. Shout out to them, they're awesome. But yeah, that's really it. It's been the same mouse for a couple of years. Like sensor-wise, we don't really feel much of a difference anymore. Sensors have gotten so good over the years that it doesn't really matter. Just as long as your mouse is at 1K pulling, honestly, which most modern gaming mice are, that's the standard. That's yeah. But no, I wish I'm gonna do more gaming mouse reviews. It's been a minute, but yeah, it is a solid mouse. I mean, obviously you can't buy it anymore from them. You gotta buy it from a third party, a reseller, and that's the whole draw of Finalmouse. But I like the mouse. It's pretty solid. It's definitely better for my Starlight. But no, try to find a mouse that you like, and with the shape that feels comfortable in your hand. That is the most important thing. I really do think that. But yeah, that's it. See you.